The simplified plotting link will bring you to a page that has not only a visual of the plotting interface, but also some troubleshooting points that will hopefully help us as we work our way through. So let's talk about one of those points. How do I print a physical copy of a CAD drawing on paper using a plotter or a printer? So what I have open here is a copy of AutoCAD, and we have a drawing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through those points as they are laid out in that guide. We're trying to create a plot on a piece of paper from a printer that is somehow connected to our computer, either directly or through a network. The first step is select the name of the printer. Now, if you have a printer connected to your computer directly, the name of that printer will appear in the list. This is the printer connected to my computer at home. If we were at Bakersfield College in the CAD lab, well, then you would have to make sure you are selecting the printer for the CAD lab that you're in at that time. Okay, so our first step is select the proper plotter. The second thing is pick the size of the paper you're working with. Once we pick the plotter, the list of paper that it can handle is narrowed down to only those things that will fit inside that plotter. Letter size paper is 8.5 by 11. We see in the preview window here. If we were to change it to one of these other sizes, then the preview would update 8.5 by 14, right, for legal size. But my computer only handles 8.5 by 11 sheets. So if the instructions say to print at letter size or 8.5 by 11, that's what we would set our paper size for. If the instructions have a different size, well, then go through and find the size that you're being directed to use. The third thing that we're asking is, what do we want to plot? And normally we're going to print the extents of the drawing. Extents just means everything I drew. Normally that works fine. Now if that doesn't work fine, there's another troubleshooting video on what to do if the plot does not look like I was expecting it to. Okay, but normally we're going to leave this on extents. Display is the one it's set for by default, but that's a dumb option. It should always be extents. If you look at the preview here, you see that there is a big square at the top of the paper that's been filled in that shows the size of our plot and where it falls on the paper. Our next step is to center the plot, and when I click on the center box, you see how it moved down a little bit, so there's an equal space above and below. That will keep your drawing in the very center of the paper. The plot scale is how big do we want the object to print. Right now it's set to either shrink or stretch the drawing to fit on the paper and completely fill it. That is not usually the scale that we're going to print things at. So if you uncheck it, you now have the ability to go in and select a scale or type in your own custom scale. So in this case, I'm going to say I want a scale of 1:1, which means 1 inch on the paper equals 1 inch in the AutoCAD drawing. If you look at your preview, you see where it used to fill up a big part of the page, now it's quite small. Our next step is the plot style table, and just for the purposes of this class, it should be set to monochrome. Monochrome means black and white only. These are all of the basic settings: name, paper size, plot area, center, scale, plot style table, and then finally we want to click on the preview button, because the preview button shows us what we're going to get. AutoCAD is a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get printing system. So this is exactly what we should see on the page at printing time. And you can zoom in and out with your wheel if you want to examine things. But that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. If I wanted to print, I could click here on the print icon, the plot icon, and it would begin the plot for me on the machine. If I want to go back though, I can close the preview window and continue to work with the settings until it is the way I want it to be. This is how we would normally plot on a piece of paper to a printer attached to the computer we're working on.